Welcome to the Italian Wine Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Vinitaly International Wine and Spirits Exhibition. The 54th edition of Vinitaly will be held from the 10th to the 13th of April, right here in Verona. To discover more about Vinitaly and get your tickets, visit vinitaly.com. This year, the Italian Wine Podcast will be live and in person in Pavilion 6, Stand A7. So come on down and say hello.
Welcome to this special Italian Wine Podcast broadcast. This episode is a recording off Clubhouse, the popular drop-in audio chat. This Clubhouse session was taken from the Wine Business Club and Italian Wine Club. Listen in as wine lovers and experts alike engage in some great conversation on a range of topics in wine. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinepodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. And remember to subscribe and rate our show wherever you tune in.
Okay, hello everyone. My name's Stevie Kim and this is the Italian Wine Room on the Clubhouse. I hope we're supposed to have the Rapuzzi brothers. I don't see them yet. Chai Wayne.
Yeah, Ivan is here with me, Stevie. So he'll be coming through my
okay, that's fantastic. I was like, oh, this is the Ambassador's Corner, fireside chat with the Rapuzzis, without the Rapuzzi.
No, we have one Rapuzzi. Unfortunately, Pier Paolo isn't feeling well this evening. So he had to bow out, but I am here with Ivan in the Studio Taverna.
Ciao.
Okay, ciao Ivan, come stai?
Bene, tu?
Bene. All right, then we'll get started. So the room is a little quiet at the moment, but we'll get started. This is the Ambassador's Corner. Ciao, Laika.
Ciao, Stevie.
So what is this? Of course, Laika, as you guys know, she is the clubhouse manager for Italian Wine Club, and we're doing some rooms also with the wine business the next couple of months. So what is the episode? Is it number 34?
Yes, it's the 34th episode under the Ambassador's Corner. It's been really a lot.
Oh my God, I see Emilia. Emilia, listen, your colleague just became Sunny. She became an Italian wine ambassador, as you know, your colleague from Qualciabella. So congratulations to her. Good to see everybody. Stefan, ciao Stefan, Melissa, Andre, Annie. I see Kevin. I know I'll be seeing some of you soon. Charlie Shah, Paul, of course, Cynthia Chiro, Tushar. I don't know if you're coming to Vinitaly this year. And of course, Eric, he's almost our neighbor. Okay, let's get this started. So, this is the Ambassador's Corner. You know the deal. We made an exception. Usually it's the Italian wine ambassadors from via community, of course, but we have extended an invitation as a special mod to be part of the mod squad. Of course, Wayne Young, because he reached out to me. I know he also runs a room on Clubhouse, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, a room, the La Taverna, Friuli Wine Room, and podcast.
Yeah, so it's a room specialized in Friuli wines.
Yes, 100% Friuli wines. We might make an exception for something from Slovenia.
Okay, alrighty. So for some of you who don't know who Wayne is, I've met him since the get-go because he used to work with the group Bastianich. That's how I met him originally. Exactly. But he's actually, I didn't know this. I'm reading on your bio right now. You're actually a diploma holder as well. When did you get your diploma?
I think probably before Laika and Joy were born.
Oh my God. Congratulations.
I was one of the first. Yeah, I think I got my diploma like in 1998 or 1999, something like that. Long goodness. Time. I think it was one of the first 6 diploma holders in the United States.
So who are the other diploma holders from Italy? I know, of course, Magnani.
That I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, he claims he's the first, and then we have Alessandra Fedi. Who else? So I know 3 of you now. Who else?
Really, as far as in Italy is concerned, I don't know. I don't know because I got my diploma in the States in New York. Way back in the day.
Right. So you went to the Italian Wine Center?
I was at the International Wine Center.
Yeah, right. International. I keep on saying Italian. Yeah. So we just executed our VIA program with Mary, of course.
She's awesome.
Yeah, there are two Marys, right? Mary Ewing Mulligan, who of course founded the International Wine Center. Now there's Mary Gordon McAdams, who's also a master of wine, and now she's running the show more or less. So this is our second time running VIA in New York City with the International Wine Center. It was actually great. We had it was great because we got a lot of students who we've never met before. So it was absolutely fantastic. And now there are 4 new Italian wine ambassadors proclamated from that class. So tell us a little bit about, when you got to Italy and what you've been doing since and what you're doing now, most importantly.
Well, I arrived in Italy about 24 years ago now. And I was working for Joe Bastianich as a somm in New York City and decided that the somm life was not for me anymore. And I needed to do something new and exciting. And Joe offered me the possibility of coming and doing the first harvest, working as a cellar rat for his winery here in Friuli. So I accepted and thought I would come for the harvest and then basically make my way back to New York City and find my way in the wine business there again. But fell in love with Friuli and a Friulian girl. Ended up staying for about 1.5 years and doing 2 harvests. And then I married my girlfriend in 2002 and moved here permanently in the beginning of the year. So that's my story. So now I've been here. I worked as sort of the marketing and communications director for Bastianich up until last year. And now I am freelance here doing consulting for different wineries here as far as their communications and social media is concerned. And my true love here is doing the podcast La Taverna.
Okay, very good. Well, congratulations with that. We are always happy to promote other podcasts. It's a lot of work, but it's a labor of love, as we say around here. So tell me why. I did meet Ivan once, I believe, in Los Angeles just once. But of course, their wines are one of our favorites in the community, and I believe we have their wines also. I'm not sure if I see Jacopo, but we have their wines also as part of the VIA program.
Yeah.
So why did you choose? Are you working with the Rapuzzis?
I am helping them out, absolutely. I came to them just about 1 year ago, almost exactly 1 year ago, because even when I worked for Bastianich, and this is a true story, I've always said to the Rapuzzi, I was like, hey, listen, if you ever want to steal me from Bastianich, I'll come and work for you because I love you guys and I love your wine. So you're the one winery that I would, go leave Bastianich to work for at that point. So when I was searching for some new things to do, the first people who I contacted were the Rapuzzis, and they were like, we were just thinking about you too. And so we started collaborating and it's been a really wonderful year so far, and we continue to collaborate. And I have always been in love with their wines. It's been 20 years since the first time I've experienced a Schioppettino di Cialla, and I've always considered their wines iconic, which is one of the reasons why I chose them to taste tonight. And I think they are certainly one of the great undiscovered gems here in Friuli.
Okay, so we're, here at the Vinitaly International Academy, we are a little bit obsessed about the learning objectives because not myself, but there are a bunch of geeks in the audience. So what should we expect to learn from this call today?
Well, I think what we should be looking for is sort of the history of what happened with Schioppettino, and Ronchi di Cialla is uniquely able to sort of tell the story of how Schioppettino was basically saved from extinction and what makes this particular grape variety, especially in this particular place, so unique and so interesting.
Okay, fantastic. I am going to mute my mic right now, and then I will be coming back in the very end for some Q&A. Take it away, Wayne.
Okay, thank you, Stevie. It's really a pleasure to be here. So I want to give a chance to Ivan, who's here with me. Unfortunately, Pier Paolo couldn't make it. Take a moment, introduce yourself, second generation winemaker at Ronchi di Cialla. So Ivan, tell us a little bit about you personally.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Ivan.
I'm Ivan. Wayne told correctly, I'm the second generation of Ronchi di Cialla. My parents starts in 70, so I really born in the vine. And Cialla was my my first experience in discovering the land, discovering the vines, discovering the forest, and I have many remembers about that beautiful place, because it was really something to discover. Cialla, who visited this place, know that it is a small valley, but with very specific characteristics. And when I was a child, it was everything really fantastic, because there are a lot of forest, there are some small streams with truths, with shrimps.
Little crayfish.
Yeah, so was really beautiful to grow there. And in the years, my father especially told me a lot about vines, how to grow vines and everything. So yes.
Did you go to school for enology or for agronomy?
Yes, I did school for agronomy and was graduated in agronomy. And my passion was from the beginning to study insects.
Yeah, you're an entomologist as well.
Exactly. But that's because the area where I was born, Cialla, was a really natural area. So it was possible to found a lot of interesting things over there. And I start my activity in wine and in entomology as well.
So you do both of those things?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. So there obviously this means that you have a extremely high level of respect for the creatures that live in and around your vineyards.
Yes, because I think that everything is connected in nature. If you have the opportunity to work in an environment well preserved, you have a better condition also to grow vines. And we understand that the biodiversity of our valley is really huge, because we are between the Alps and the Mediterranean, the Adriatic Sea. And there is about 30 kilometers from the Adriatic Sea coast and 30 kilometers from the top of the Julian Alps. So in about 50 kilometers, you go from the seaside to 3,000 meters.
Wow.
And in the valley, we have both the influences. We have many plants typical from the Mediterranean, but we have also an influence from the Alps. So it is really a huge biodiversity over there. In terms of insects that I'm studying, we found that in this small valley that is about 4 kilometers long, 1 kilometer large, we have a higher biodiversity than, for example, in the whole British Island.
No way.
Really?
In this little tiny place?
Yes, because it is between Mediterranean Alps, the Dinaric Alps, so it is really a very unique place.
And so this is specific to the Valley of Cialla, where you guys are the only producers who are making wine in that valley, correct?
Yes, okay. Fortunately, yes. So we have, in the valley, there is only 4 to 5% of the surface covered by used by agricultural vines, and 95% still covered by forest, meadows, and everything is really well preserved. And this huge biodiversity in terms of insects we found also in vines. In fact, our area is extremely rich in different varieties.
Vine variety.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's take a step back and talk a little bit about how your parents got started in the wine business. So you said they started in 1970?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And so how did they get into the wine business at all?
For passion, it was a choice of life for them, because they did a completely different job. They work for Olivetti. Maybe somebody known. Olivetti was a very famous producer of tap machines.
Yeah, business machines.
Business machines.
Exactly. And typewriters and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But my parents, my father especially, was a little bit bored about this way of life, of budgets, and everything was stressful. And for Friulan people, we have our roots deep into the soil as a vines, And my parents love wine, love the wine culture of Friuli. and has a lot of knowledge about that. And when they arrive and visit Challa, they see that there were the possibility to buy some land in that place. It was a beautiful house on the top of the hill with some old vines surrounding this house. And they decided that moment we wanted to change our life, and we wanted to live here, to grow our childs over there. And they falling in love in some way with this place.
Okay. And so you said there were some vines, but they didn't buy, an already functioning winery and vineyards.
Yeah.
No, it was just some vines and an old house.
Exactly, nothing else.
Yeah. Nothing else.
And everything were abandoned from the World War II.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So 40 years, basically.
Yeah,
30-something years.
Yeah, before. Yeah, because during the World War I and World War II, our area was a disaster because we were on the border within former Yugoslavia with Austro-Hungarian Empire. So for about 50 years, people just fight.
Okay.
And so local people generally move from that area because everything was abandoned, was destroyed, and everybody tried to find a new way for their life.
Okay.
But that was so bad, but it was also give some opportunity because this part of Italy remain really well preserved in terms of environment, in terms of some way also culture and everything.
Okay. So how did they get involved with the Schioppettino variety? What was it that sort of brought them to that place?
Yeah, it is the history of my family in some way.
Yeah, it's really closely related.
Yeah, it is related. My parents, when bought the property in Challa, asked to local people what the parents grown in the past. And they answered to my parents that they grow Schioppettino. But these varieties, these vines, was completely disappeared. And it was disappeared for a specific reason, because Schioppettino historically was so local, was really an endemic variety of Challa Valley and Albana Valley. It is two sides of more or less the same hill.
Okay.
And in the past, Schioppettino were cultivated in such a small area because this area has some specific microclimatic condition and also some specific soil characteristics. And for this reason, for several hundred years, Schioppettino were cultivated in such a small and limited area. So that means a few square kilometers, basically. And that this was the lucky and the unlucky of Schioppettino in the same time.
Okay.
It was lucky because Schioppettino was recognized as a quality wine, rare, and was appreciated and researched all around Europe. But was only unlike because when arrived the phylloxera, that is the pest, the small insect that arriving from the New World that destroyed the viticulture, Schioppettino was so local and was nearly completely destroyed.
So it was almost extinct.
Almost extinct, because people has not the time to preserve some specimens from the disease. And this was in 1855. And in that time, people looks especially for production in terms of quantity and not take care about quality very much. And in that time, was introduced the international varieties in Friuli. So arrived the Merlot, the Cabernet, as reds, the Chardonnay, the Sauvignon, as whites, for example. And people, honestly speaking, that time were happy to shift from Schioppettino to Merlot, for example, because Merlot were easier to grow.
Okay.
And gives a huge production in terms of quantity. Is harvested 1 month before the Schioppettino. That means a lot, especially in difficult vintage, because you can lose a lot of the production. So people start to grow Merlot and abandoned the Schioppettino.
Okay. And so they sort of heard about this grape variety and decided to sort of bring it back from from extinction, more or less.
Exactly. I don't know why they decided to try to start.
Were there bottles of Schioppettino around that they could try, or
no? Actually, not.
So it was completely blind.
Yes, my father knows Schioppettino about some old paper, old book. He has a huge bibliography about agricultural wines from Friuli, and found a lot of information on Schioppettino. And when they arrive in Cialla, they understand that they were in the typical area for that wine variety.
So I want to ask you about some of the people or how they sort of brought it back from extinction. But before I ask you that, what is it about Cialla and Albana as an area that makes it perfect for Schioppettino?
Yes. It is perfect because Schioppettino needs some specific condition. Schioppettino is really difficult to grow because needs a place with a lot of freshness, but not humidity.
Okay, so cool but not wet.
Exactly, because Schioppettino suffering a lot when the sun is very strong during the summer and gives some burn in some way the clusters.
I'd say they're easily sunburned.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Schioppettino prefer to grow close by the forest and close by small streams, but avoid huge humidity.
Okay.
So needs a place with a little bit windy. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about sort of the process that your parents went through to bring Schioppettino back and start planting and making Schioppettino as a wine again.
Yes, it was a serious work. First, they started with a bibliography, and because they wanted to be sure that what is Schioppettino is. That's the first problem when you try to discover something, what Schioppettino is. But fortunately, there were a lot of bibliography about Schioppettino. There are also an iconography about Schioppettino. There were some very precise and detailed description about Schioppettino.
Where did they find that?
In his library.
His library, okay.
Yeah, it was a job, a paper, a book before phylloxera, for the beginning of the 19th century, from Poggi.
Okay.
It was an iconography of indigenous varieties from Friuli. And Schioppettino was detailed described on this book, also with pictures, but also with the description of the leaves, of the clusters and everything. So Schioppettino is really different from the other varieties. So it was quite easy to understand this is Schioppettino, this is another Refosco, I don't know, or Pignolo or Merlot and so on.
Okay. And so were there Schioppettino vines there on the property, or did they find them somewhere else?
A part in the property,
okay,
and part in the classic area. So in Cialla and
Prepolto,
in Prepolto,
Albana.
See, a few kilometers.
So from what I remember, there was the mayor of Prepolto that sort of helped you out with some vines. Or...
Yes. He helped my father in this work, and he also knows Schioppettino and has some vines around his house. So that helped a lot.
But you couldn't just take Schioppettino and make new vines and start planting vineyards to Schioppettino. It was illegal, from what I remember.
Exactly. It was illegal because for the law, it was not admitted to grow something that it is extinct. It's like, I don't know, to grow some Brontosaurus
okay,
or something.
No breeding Brontosauruses.
No, it's like a fossil,
Right.
Yeah, but they has the Schioppettino in their hand, and they did the first vine of Schioppettino, and that was really, really great. But it was really difficult because when they had two ways to choose in that time. One was to keep a secret the discovery, and produce a Schioppettino and produce a red wine, but without just with a fantasy name.
Okay.
I don't know. The other way, and my parents choose this way, that looks more difficult, but more serious in some way, I think. They decided to produce a Schioppettino and name this wine after Schioppettino.
Okay.
But this was illegal in that time. And they were lucky because they meet the Nonnino family.
Okay.
Nonnino family is the famous grappa producer from Friuli. And in that time, they start with the Premio Nonnino Resite d'Aur. In that time, this prize that now is international, it was really connected alla cultura contadina.
To the farmers' culture, culture, agricultural.
And they were Nonnino family were looking for somebody that do something important, significant in this way. And they know that my parents saved Schioppettino, and they wanted to give this prize to my parents to save the Schioppettino. And they were really cleverness, because they give the prize, and in the commission that give the prize to my parents, there were journalists, of course. So my parents get in contact with Luigi Veronelli, Mario Soldati, Gianni Brera, that in 70s were the most important people talking and writing about wine and food in Italy. But also there were some politicians.
Politicians. Okay.
Politicians in the commission. So from Rome, from the DOC commission, and everything. So the same people that told to my parents that it's illegal to grow Schioppettino. So it was a cortocircuito, say in
short circuit.
Exactly. The same person cannot give a price and at the same time a fees to my parents to grow Schioppettino.
So your parents literally risked having vineyards torn up and getting fines from these politicians, who then gave them a prize for saving Schioppettino. So now they're sort of caught between a rock and a hard place. So I gave them a prize, but now I can't make them tear the prize out. So very, very smart on the part of the family, the Nonnino family.
Very fast, Schioppettino was considered legal again.
Okay, so it was placed into the paradigm of acceptable grape varieties.
And that Save Schioppettino was very important for some other local varieties, because in the same time the commission decided to di rendere legali
to legalize
together Schioppettino, also Pignolo, Tazzalenghe.
So there were 3 grape varieties that got added at the same time.
But Pignolo and Tazzalenghe thanks to Schioppettino.
Okay. So we would say in English, they rode in on the coattails of Schioppettino. Well, thank goodness.
Yeah. And another variety was not admitted, but not for any real reason, but just because 3 yes, 1 no,
Okay.
This way of it. And it was the Fumat.
Fumat. Okay.
Fumat.
This one I've never heard of.
Yeah, but it is interesting. Variety it is a red variety as well. And fumate in Friulano means nebbia. And that reminds you Nebbiolo.
Nebbiolo, exactly.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Schioppettino as far as a grape variety is concerned. I mean, we're drinking your 2016 Schioppettino in this moment. But I mean, just for people who may have not tried Schioppettino, describe to me what Schioppettino is like as a wine.
Schioppettino is really different and specific wine. It's a different and strange wine. And also the wine is something really different from other wines. But Schioppettino has a fingerprinting about the spiciness. And it is a little pepper, black pepper, because the rotundone. Schioppettino is really rich in this molecule, rotundone, that gives this specific taste. Schioppettino is really huge, elegant wine.
Yeah.
It's very smooth, a little bit light. It's light, but with a huge complexity, a huge richness.
So there's fruit and there's spiciness, this black pepper.
Yeah, and together with red berries, ribes, and strawberries.
Right. One of the things that I love about Schioppettino is the fact that, as elegant as it is, and it's not a very big tannic structured wine, it still has this incredible potential to age, to last in the bottle for decades.
Yes.
How is that possible?
It is like a natural miracle, I think.
Oh, okay.
But in Schioppettino, especially Schioppettino produced in some small specific crus, give in the wines a huge aging potential, probably because the acidity is really balanced. The tannins, there are, but are very smooth, but has tannins. So Schioppettino is elegant, but with a lot of things inside. And all these things are really balanced one between the others, and gives to Schioppettino this huge aging potential.
It reminds me of another grape variety that's considered very elegant and very finely structured and not so deeply colored. And it's probably one of the greatest red wines in the world, Pinot Noir.
Yes.
There's a lot in common with Pinot Noir as far as sort of structure and elegance is concerned.
Yeah, and both are difficult to grow. Don't forget that.
And both. Why is Schioppettino difficult to grow? Because of the specific place, you're saying?
Specific place, in the, very molto sensibile alle malattie.
Very sensitive.
Sensitive to
diseases.
To disease, yeah.
So do you have to do anything special in the vineyards to help Schioppettino, or how do you take care of it in the vineyard?
Yes, the first thing is to look and to find the balance and equilibrium.
Okay.
So it's necessary to grow in the good place, and don't give concimazioni.
Fertilizers.
Yeah. Just some organic, but not every year. Because Schioppettino try to be a little bit exuberant, you know? So it's very important to have a good balancement in the vine.
Exuberant meaning it produces a lot of grapes.
Grapes and especially leaves.
Okay. Lots of vegetation.
A lot of vegetation that create some not good condition for the plant because there are too much humidity. So it's very important to have not very fertile soil.
Okay. And you said it was also pretty late ripening as well?
But yes, pretty late.
When do you normally pick Schioppettino, for example?
Middle October.
Middle October.
In the warm vintage, beginning of October. In the cold ones, in November.
Last year was a pretty late vintage. I think you harvested Schioppettino when? The end of October, I think. 20
to 26, if
last
I remember.
Year. Yeah. Wow. So very late. Much like, I mean, I know people here in Friuli who are harvesting Merlot on the 1st of September.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So much later, almost 2 months.
Okay, Schioppettino is a late ripeness, and the Challa is a cold place.
Okay.
So this Piudette
creates so late variety and a cool place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this gave to the wine some really specific characteristic and a big character, I think.
And how about when you're making Schioppettino? Are you doing anything specific as far as vinification is concerned? How is your Schioppettino di Challa made?
But the most important thing is to have beautiful grapes.
Okay.
But as every wine, I think, and of course, is hand harvesting under selection, strict selection of the grapes. And we do quite a long skin contact. That means 4 to 5 weeks.
4 to 5 weeks on the skins?
Yeah.
Wow.
But the maturation is very long, but at a natural low temperature.
Okay.
Because harvesting end of October, that means to harvest grapes that has about 10 degrees in terms of temperature.
Oh, so the grapes come in at 10 degrees.
Yes, so the most start cold, natural cold.
Do you heat anything up?
No.
Wow, that's a challenge.
Wild eels, of course.
So no inoculation?
No. And so the fermentation is very slow.
Okay.
Yeah, and the maximum temperature has around 20, 24 degrees, no more. So it's pretty long, but the extraction is perfect. It's not too strong.
Okay, so very gentle extraction. How long can this fermentation go on for?
In general, stop when we separate the skin.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Yeah.
And obviously separate from the skin, press.
Very, very, after 4 to 5 weeks, nearly no press.
Almost no pressing.
Almost no pressing because the skins are completely exhausted.
Okay, so you don't need to extract anymore.
No.
And then into wood?
In wood, yeah. In barrique, just a small part, about 10% new, 90% usual till 5 to 6 times, because Cupettino is so elegant, delicate. We don't need to give some other flavors.
In fact, it's even hard to imagine the Scupettino we're tasting now. It has been made in wood. There's no sensation of wood at all.
It's very important because Scupettino is so elegant, so complex, so rich. By nature, we don't need to add nothing.
Speaking of wood, you as a winery were one of the first wineries in Friuli to use barriques on their wines. Is that not true?
Yeah, it's true, but not only Friuli, in Italy.
In Italy, wow.
In Italy. Because when my father has the first Scupettino harvest, they wanted to know how I have to do with this grape now, and asked to his friend Luigi Veronelli, that was an important journalist, but has also a lot of connection. And Veronelli put in contact my father with Giacomo Takis.
Giacomo Takis is a giant of the wine world.
Yes, he was. And my father bring the most and meet Giacomo Takis. And after one day, probably Takis made some analysis, some probe in laboratory, told to answer to my father, if I have a grape like that, mi divertirei.
He would have fun.
Yeah.
He would really have fun with a grape like this.
And suggest to my father to use a barrique as in Burgundy. More or less the same process.
Yes, it's important to keep in mind that your father was not a winemaker. Your father was not an enologist.
No, was just an enthusiast in wine.
Lots of tasting and lots of curiosity as well. It's amazing that.
And so Giacomo Takis gave the connection to some tonnellerie.
Okay.
To my father,
some barrel makers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my father bought the barriques, but he didn't imagine that he was the second winery in Italy using barrique after Antinori.
Okay.
And the first for white wine, but it's a different.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
So they were, along with Antinori, who Giacomo Takis also was a consultant for.
In fact, that's because probably.
Okay, so that's the connection.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you guys organic winemaking, or what's sort of your practice in the vineyards?
Yes, it's organic, but a little bit different, because organic, more or less, is just a protocol and a list of product that you can use, and a list that the product you cannot use in the wine. And for us, this is a good way, but it's not sufficient.
Okay. So you want to go beyond.
Yeah. Because we manage our vines from the beginning in a really natural way. And so we decided to don't have any certification, organic certification. But 5 or 6 years ago, we get in touch with a different organization, and all our wines and our winery is certificated as a biodiversity friend.
Okay.
This is a different project, stronger, I think more serious than just organic, because organic is in fact just a list of products, but organic admit a lot of copper, for example.
Okay.
Too much
copper.
Yeah, and copper is a poison for the soil, for animals inhabiting the soil. But with this certification that we have, a biodiversity friend, has a different goals. The goal is to preserve and improve the biodiversity in the vines and the area surrounding the vines.
So not just the vineyards, but the areas around the vineyards.
Exactly.
Okay.
They ask to have a minimum 30% of the property of forest, for example.
Okay.
Because you have to guarantee to reuse the CO2 that you are producing during the process.
Okay.
Okay, we have 90% in the valley. We are lucky in the terms. They ask that all the vines has grass in tutto in erbito.
Okay. But so no herbicides. So
no.
Grass growing amongst the vines.
Yes, and only native. Is not admitted to use seeds from selection from industry, but is required to have the wild grass in the vine.
Okay.
But this is very important for insects, because all this, we have a huge biodiversity also of plants. So in the vines, we have a lot of insects, because there are many insects that feeds some specific species of grass, for example.
Okay.
So huge is your biodiversity of grass is in the vine. You have a higher score because you preserve more insects.
Okay.
So we decide, for example, to cut the grass only in specific period, specific time during the year, because we want that some insects that are larvae, and then becomes adults. If you cut the grass when the insects are larvae, you kill all the insects. So we wait that the insects are adults. So when we cut the grass, they are able to move in another place.
Your entomology passion is coming through here.
Yeah.
Your love of insects. Yeah.
Yeah. So this certification, I think, is more complete, is more actual than organic.
You were telling me that they do an actual census of the different species living in and around the vineyards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. What have been some of your, over the years, because so when did you and your brother sort of come in and start working with your parents? From the beginning, basically.
Yes.
But obviously you graduated from school and...
Yes, but it was all together.
It was all together.
Yeah,
so it just flowed.
Yes, it's a work, I think, is... The best thing is to start step by step, little by little.
Do you and your brother sort of divide the work, or do you both do a little bit of everything?
Yes or not.
Okay.
Today, I'm a little bit more involved in the vines, and I follow more the international markets.
Okay.
But, me and my brother, we can interchange each other anytime. Yeah.
So what have been some of your challenges as a farm, as a winemaking hacienda over the years? What have been some of the things that have been difficult for you guys?
Sorry?
what have been some of the challenges, the sfide, the difficoltà that you've had, over the years with the winery, sort of?
But of course, every year that is a specific and different history.
Challenge.
So every year has some specific problems that we have to solve. And when you are on the market, not everything depends of us, but we are in the hands of also the situation.
Yeah.
So every year is a different way, and every year we have to do some specific choice in the vines, in the cellar. So we never be bored about it.
Right.
By work.
Has the market been something that's always been friendly towards your wines, or because my sense tasting this wine now, that maybe in the late 80s and early 90s, when these big, rich Parker style wines maybe were more fashionable, was there ever any pressure to sort of change the style of Schioppettino to satisfy that market?
Yes, but we did not.
Why not?
No, because our idea of wine is to produce a wine that it is a true part of our terroir.
Okay.
It's not just an expression, but it is a part of the terroir. And so we cannot produce a wine different from the wine that we produce. Of course, one year should be best, another year less, but it is the expression and it is the soul of our terroir.
So you've never felt the pressure to change?
No. And in fact, our library wines are very interesting because are produced from the same vines. In fact, we never grow very much in terms of surface.
Okay.
More or less, we have the same size from 20, 25 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But we decided we don't want to grow because in our valley, we have a perfect ratio between the agricultural land, the vines, and the natural land.
Oh, okay.
And we don't want to be stressed about production numbers and everything. We prefer to produce the wine that are really sustainable in our valley and work just on the quality.
Okay.
And the reputation of the brand. We have different challenges to follow.
And you also make two different styles of Schioppettino.
Yes, this is una necessità.
Okay.
Because the Cialla Schioppettino, Cialla is not only the name of the area, but it is only an official appellation.
Okay. It's a subzone.
Yeah, it's a subzone. It's a cru.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have specific rules to produce the wine and everything. So to produce the Schioppettino di Cialla, that could age for many years, we have to choose the best grapes with specific characteristics.
Okay.
And all the other grapes that are beautiful grapes, of course, we use these grapes to produce a cadet Schioppettino that we name Ribolla Nera, now Rinera.
Okay.
So it has the two names, Schioppettino Rinera, and it is the Schioppettino produced by the grapes that not have the characteristic to produce a Schioppettino that could age for 30 years, for example.
So it's a sort of a lighter style.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it
stainless steel?
Stainless steel? Okay.
Yes, fresh, but really varietal. But you feel Cialla 100%.
Okay. So just to give us an idea, so the current vintage of the Schioppettino di Cialla is 2016.
Exactly.
So
the Schioppettino Rinera is 2019.
So a little bit less time.
Yeah.
Okay. Taste-wise, what do you think would be the difference between those two? So obviously, the Rinera, the Ribolla Nera is fresher, lighter.
Fruity.
Okay.
You have the spicy, but it's more fruity. Schiopettino di Cialla has a lot of is earthy.
Earthier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Molto più profondo, is deeper.
Okay.
Is more complex. You have a real the soul of Cialla.
One of the things that you mentioned very briefly that I wanted to definitely bring out was you guys have back vintages that you keep. You keep aside a pretty significant portion of your production every year.
Yes.
And you don't sell it.
No, exactly. Generally, it is 20 to 30% of the production.
You hold back 20 to 30%.
Yes.
That's quite an investment.
It is.
Yeah.
But today we have a huge library stock of old vintage from the 70s till today.
So you could walk into Ronchi di Cialla and buy a bottle from the 1970s.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's really interesting.
It is unique in Friuli for sure.
I don't know of any other wineries that do that.
And a few in Italy probably.
Yeah. So going back, I think it's and I've had the opportunity of actually tasting with you some of the older bottles, and it's amazing how far back you can go with this finely structured wine and how it's still amazing and beautiful and complex.
It's very interesting. I think it's very nice, interesting, because it's like a book open of the different vintage. You can really feel and understand how was the harvest, how was the season.
And you keep some really good notes on the vintage. I mean, if I ask you what was 1992 like, you can basically tell me almost.
Yeah. We
really
take some
records.
notes. Every year about the harvest, about the season, about also the difficulties.
Yeah. And that's how you learn, obviously. Yeah. What about the future? Any plans for the future? Any new things coming up for Ronchi di Cialla?
Yes, we have. It is a new, but this is something we come back to the origins.
Okay.
And in September we realize the Cialla Rosso.
Ah, okay.
The Cialla Rosso.
You already make Cialla Bianco.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it is Cialla Bianco is a blend of white varieties from Cialla, so Ribolla, Piccolito, Verduzzo, and Cialla Rosso from red berries. So it is Schiopettino Refosco.
Ah, Schiopettino and Refosco. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, all right. And what about some other wines that you make? So Cialla Bianco is, you said Ribolla.
Piccolito, Verduzzo.
Why this strange blend? I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it's strange. It is strange today, not in the past.
Okay.
In fact, Cialla during the Middle Age was a property of the church. Okay. And in the church in Cividale, in the archive, is called an archivium.
Archives, yeah.
Archive. We found a lot of old papers, documents from the Middle Age, and was noted a lot of information, even stupid facts. But today, very important. Mm-hmm. This year was so, that year was more rich, I don't know. But many times we found that people grow Ribolla, Piccolito, and Verduzzo, but we found information about a white wine, not a single varieties. So is logical to suppose, but it's very ragionevole.
Okay, it's reasonable.
Reasonable to understand that people in that time vinificated together these three varieties.
Okay,
and we want to produce and to try to produce this wine with this older recipe, And when we started the first time, we were really surprised because the three varieties don't stay well together. They are synergic together.
Okay.
Because the Ribolla gives the minerality, gives the acidity that is very important for a white dry wine. But the Piccolito gives what Ribolla miss. Okay. So give more complexity, richness, structure, and Verduzzo gives a little bit of tannins that is very nice, especially in the end.
Okay.
And for aging.
Okay. Fantastic. So I don't know, Stevie, did you want to, or Laika, did anybody have any questions for Ivan? I know we're getting really close to the end of the hour, but I wanted to give, other people an opportunity, Stevie or somebody, to come on and ask.
I just realized there's actually a room chat. This is a new feature. I've been completely blind to this. There's a little bit of conversation that's going on. And of course, we have some great fans. Like Melissa, I think you know her, Melissa Sutherland. Emilia Marnik, she's saying, I'm reserving a bottle of Schioppettino 1977. So we definitely have some real fans. And she says she never gets tired of the story. So thank you very much. I think we don't really have time to take any more questions. I'm going to just... That's what I can give you for now, because I just want to thank you so much, Ivan and Wayne. I do have a small ask. First of all, you guys all know that there is a replay of this on Italian Wine Podcast. We've been getting tons of listens, especially the rooms, sometimes even 5,000 listens.
Wow.
It has a very long life cycle, and we really want to thank you for that. We did, however, have a small snafu a couple of weeks ago, and I know Joy, our producer, she's really, really heartbroken because we were delisted on Spotify and we lost like 1,500 followers that we've created the past year. So if you can just go back on Spotify, we are back. Please subscribe and follow us. I did also want to say we have a new channel. It's a video channel. It's called Mama Jumbo Shrimp, and we will be doing a marathon of about 14 episodes just before we get to the Vinitaly Marathon, because then we'll be in apnea just for Vinitaly. So next week, I don't know, Laika, if this is true, if you can confirm, next week we have 3 calls, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Yes,
so Tuesday,
exactly.
Is that correct? So
That's
Tuesday,
correct.
We have Kevin De Lucente, who's in the audience. We'll be interviewing Giacomo Colombera. And then we have on Wednesday, which is the Maze Row series, Sarah Bray will interview Barbara Widmer of Brancaya. I saw Marilisa in the audience. Her episode, she recorded yesterday on Clubhouse. That episode will be going live tomorrow on Italian Wine Podcast. She did an excellent deep dive into Allegrini. That should be interesting and a bit academic as well for the wine geeks if you like to check that out tomorrow. That will be published tomorrow. And then we will have on Thursday Tomasella Perniciaro. She lives in Norway, I believe, and she will be interviewing Mariolina Baccellieri from Baccellieri. And then the week after that, we will have Emilia at last, and she will be interviewing Ivan Giuliani of Terenzuola. Of course, once Vinitaly stops, we will have a couple of weeks of, hiatus because we will be so busy doing all of that stuff. So please, subscribe, follow us, and Italian Wine Podcast, wherever you get your pods. But give an extra love for Spotify because we had to kind of reset and start over. So, we would really appreciate that. That is a wrap, and see you guys next week on Clubhouse, Italian Wine Podcast. And any of you who are coming to Vinitaly, ping us, and so we can get together for a drink or a chat. Ciao ragazzi.
Grazie. Thank you, Stevie.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Italian Wine Podcast, brought to you by Vinitaly International Wine and Spirits Exhibition, the biggest drinks trade fair in the world. For more information about Vinitaly and tickets, visit vinitaly.com, and remember to subscribe to Italian Wine Podcast and catch us on SoundCloud, Spotify, and wherever you get your pods. You can also find us at italianwinepodcast.com.
Hi guys, I'm Joy Livingston and I am the producer of the Italian Wine Podcast. Thank you for listening. We are the only wine podcast that has been doing a daily show since the pandemic began. This is a labor of love and we are committed to bringing you free content every day. Of course, this takes time and effort, not to mention the cost of equipment, production, and editing. We would be grateful for your donations, suggestions, requests, and ideas. For more information on how to get in touch, go to italianwinepodcast.com.